Mate, what is with all these NRL Fantasy podcasts? They all sound the fucking same. Welcome to the echo chamber.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of the NRL Fantasy Echo Chamber. We're here to talk smack and we're here to have a good time. How are you going, Eddie?
Good mate. Fucking fantasy. Fucking good to be back. Fucking, fucking had a bit of a shitter last year, but we're bouncing back this year and fucking ready to go. Fucking primed. How are you boys?
Oh, mate, living the dream. Never been better. I am so keen to watch Cleary get his fucking ankle snapped again and spend the entire season on the sidelines.
Hey, cut it out.
Yeah, it'll be so good. Yeah, we had a bit of a rough year last year. We may or may not have held him way too long, some of us, and just, it was a weird year. Hey? Everybody relevant seemed to be injured, and we kind of just all decided to do the same stuff. Yeah, echo chamber in there. Hopefully we can keep each other accountable.
Yeah, fucking no. Well, I've never had two bad back-to-back years, so fucking bounce back time.
There's always a first, mate.
Hey, cut it out. Cut it out.
Well, back to back top 30. We'll see how it goes in this year. But yeah, Fantasy's open. I tell you, what were they doing with that release? They announced, any moment, and then it took 9 hours. I think the community nearly went insane there. But yeah, it's open now. So what do you reckon, really, of the new rule and some prices and stuff?
Yeah, I don't think it's really a hot take that I don't really like the new rule. I think it's a bit too easy. I think it doesn't really deal with the issue that everyone had last year, was that there was just too many injuries. So I think everyone wanted a 21st man, that, another cheapie we could play around with just to help cover those injuries. Whereas this is just, it's taken away a lot of the skill in managing that bye period.
Yeah, I think you're right. Also, the magic number seems to be about 13.35k per point for most of the players in the comp this year, down from 13.75. That gives you about 300k extra buying power. And really, I think you said you're the only one who's struggling to make a team. I don't know what you're doing, because I made a team in about 5 minutes and I was like, wow, that's so easy. What's happening? I've got 600k for this last person instead of wondering what to do. Eddie, how do you find making a team and this new rule?
This is one of the easier years in memory, I think. It wasn't hard to put together a team. Basically, my team's not full of shitty placeholders for once at this time of year. Because it's pretty easy to build your squad all the way down to number 21 this year. And yeah, with that new rule, I basically agree with what Rudley said. I think it dumbs down the game a little bit, makes it a bit too easy, and every time you sort of take a tactical element out of the game or reduce it, in my eyes, you dumb down the game. So it just makes it easier for the casuals, which is probably what the NRL is going for. But I mean, I don't really care about the casuals that much. I'm more into the serious side of things. So for me, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, there will be a different tactical element to it, but last year I just remember having to be so careful. Like, you would come into it and you would be 2 rounds before Origin, and you would buy all these players who you knew would be there in round 14, and just barely scratch having 13 players in that Origin week, because you needed to dive back in with 17, with 3 teams missing, Origin guys backing up, and injuries. That was very difficult, and it was great for tactics. But this, you can just kind of wander in and do whatever. So I think you can definitely take more Origin players this year.
Well, the big thing with where the draw worked last year is that the guys it was round 13 or so, wasn't it? That was the first bye, right? So the teams that played in that round, fucking most of them had the bye, the minor bye, the very next round. So it was sort of, you couldn't win.
Yeah, this year it's a lot less strategic, I guess, but also the schedule for a lot of these teams is different. As you said, some of them in Origin week, very next week, they had a bye, or the other way around. This time, instead of just having the one that goes through all 3, Origin weeks and has 1 or 2 in the minor buys. I think there's 3 teams this year that have got all 3 Origin rounds available, and there's multiple others with other interesting schedules. So I really think you can load up on a couple of teams and just sail through. You can. I was saying to someone else out there, I reckon you can nearly play head to head and overall at the same time, and that's very different to usual.
Yeah, or you just turn buy rounds on for your head-to-head leagues. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very viable this year. There's not a heap of difference.
I think that's one other big issue with the rule change I think we're going to experience this year is that I don't think you're going to be able to come back from a rough start with any sense of ease.
Yep.
Like in the previous years, you'd be able to, gain some serious ranks over that Origin period. This year, if you have a bad start and you have a bit of luck that just doesn't go your way, I think you're going to be in for a real rough end of the season, trying to catch up slowly.
Might finally be Jessup's year to finally have a crack. He's the king of fucking starting strong and then falling away over the bye period.
Yeah, he's real good at starting off strong. I think he's like
he's real good at blowing it though too.
20 or 30th. Yeah, but maybe
yeah.
the difference. Maybe the difference is this year you get like a million trades late season instead of just hanging on for dear life. That's probably going to be the only difference in the way the ranks shoot up at the end.
Yeah, and obviously just the same old shit of not running out of trades too early at the end of the year.
Where's the fun in that though?
Yeah. Oh, it is pretty fun when you've got trades and you can make luxury maneuvers while everyone else is crying about not having enough trades.
Yeah, but it's so much more enjoyable to max trade for the first 8 weeks.
I'm not too bad with saving trades.
I think that was the downfall of my last season, to be honest, was saving too many trades when Cleary was sitting on my sideline.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I had a really good finish, but like I was still like 8,000th, like a month from the end, and that was terrible. I made up to 5,000, but that's still not a great finish. So I guess we'll find out. Yeah, it's no good. But hopefully bigger and better this year. And the first thing that we have to figure out, our teams, is hookers. It looks pretty different to most years this year. We've got a bunch of cheapy options and a bunch of value. Eddie, who have you got at your hooker at the moment?
I got Watson. Obviously, I've got him sitting on the interchange with Mamazoulis just as in the placeholder. But yeah, I'm going Watson. He's the most exciting option. He's a fair bit cheaper than, say, Grant and Cook, but he's one that's got the potential to possibly be the top hooker this year. And I think he's going to have strong minutes this year. I'm keen as. Just got to hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't given him the hooker duel, because like who else is going to play hooker? What are they going to do? Play Tyler Moriarty for 80 minutes there? No. Rudely, why doesn't he have hooker duel?
Oh, fuck, I wish I knew, mate. I wish I knew. It just makes it so much harder.
I'd say it's just to cover themselves if he gets named at like half or some shit in round 1, which I'm pretty sure is not going to happen, but that's the only reason I can think of.
No, he's going to get named at centre and get centre duel, because that's where he moves during mid-game when Billy Smith explodes.
If Billy Smith even starts this year.
Yeah, well, who's going to start in the centres? It's going to be Toya and either Billy Smith or what's his name? No, Nwonga Nita Wasai. Marky Mark. That's the one. The other Mark.
I don't want to call him Mark. Let's just call him Nawa.
Yeah.
No.
I'm of the other opinion. I think Billy Smith has got one locked down, and then it's Nawa and Toya fighting for the other one.
Yeah. It could be any combo of the 3, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be that we buy 6 Roosters and they're different to what we think. 4 are good and 2 just disappear. Because last year with 2...
So like the Roosters forwards last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck off, Tupanua. Fucking...
Yeah.
No.
Well, I reckon they should have bought Takiaho if they don't know who's going to goal kick and do all that stuff. Just buy a proper forward. Although he's like 33 now, isn't he?
Yeah, he looked washed when he looked washed before he left. So I can't imagine he's gotten a lot better since.
Yeah. maybe got some Super League rejuvenation. But yeah, I do have
It's not
Watson.
2020 anymore, eh?
No, no, I do have Watson as well. I think priced at just under 50. Like, there's every chance that if he gets the role we expect him to get, at least until the cheese returns, I think there's every chance he can push high 50s and outscore Grant even, which is going to be very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there any situation, I guess, that he just plays like 60 or even like 50 and then moves to the middle for 15? That'd probably be the only thing against him, but like I don't think that's going to happen.
I wouldn't see why they do that. I think Watson's quite clearly shown that he can play 80 minutes and not just that he thrives at it. Like, he got into Origin off the back of his performance at the Roosters. I don't see why they wouldn't keep him on the park for as long as possible.
Yeah, and he's
Any
always.
extra,
There you go.
yeah. Any extra fucking any minutes in the middle is going to score at a pretty good PPM anyway. I'm confident that one way or another he's going to be getting enough minutes to score plenty.
Yeah, and he's always been a really good point scorer at hooker when he gets the minutes. Like back when he was in his night states, he was averaging like mid 50s back then at hooker, and he did it last year. We just expect him to do that when he plays hooker. So lock him in. He's
Yeah,
one of
well,
my favourites.
yeah, he's a really busy defender when he plays at hooker. He can crack up big tackle numbers, and he's a bit of like a greedy sort of player as well. So he doesn't mind having some runs out of dummy half, and he can break tackles when he does it.
Plus, he just offloads the ball every second tackle. I swear to God.
Yeah, I love that little cunt. Fucking, he's in my team for sure.
Yeah, I've locked him in. Like, seriously, just to think about it, the only other real option for gunning up in the hooker position is Grant. Grant's 730, Watson's 660. For 70 extra K, you're really going to get similar scoring, in my opinion. So there's no reason to spend that 70 extra K when you can just go and use it elsewhere in positions that need it, like wing fullback this year.
Owning Grant last year wasn't a very fun experience either, so I'm not exactly lining up to do it again right now.
I think that kind of leads on to Grant, though. I don't know how to feel about Grant this year. He did have a down year last year. I think it was a 53 average. And, the previous years than that, he was on 57 in 2023 and like 60 in 2022. And you imagine a Storm outfit that is going to just bully the crap out of the rest of the comp. There's going to be some kind of uptick in attacking stats. So maybe he can go go higher in that high 50s average for this year. But again, surely Watson is just going to score about the same for less.
Yeah, well, the price difference between them is enough that I think Watson's the go. Grant does have the fucking extra bonus of like he's got no risk. Like Grant's going to play 70 to 80 minutes all the time for sure.
Yeah,
I think anyone who's thinking that. Sorry, you go, Scoop.
yeah, I think he's just going to be one of the top two hooker options again this year, but you're paying for that. You're paying for one of those
Yeah.
top two hooker options. I think he will average more. With Munster back last year, he averaged about 57, I think, compared to 48 without him. And in a good Storm team, I'd expect that's probably about where he'll sit this year. But yeah, I mean, Watson very likely to do something similar. So I don't know if I'm really that pushed to go for it, even though there might be some value.
I think 57's about right as well. So it's still decent buy. I wouldn't talk anyone out of it. I'm just on the Watson side of things, that's all.
I think the only real reason to go over Grant is if you're concerned that Watson's going to spend, start the game well at hooker and then go to centres when Billy Smith inevitably explodes his ankle again.
Or you have 80 million Roosters in your team.
I got 4 at the moment.
How many have I got? I think I got the same 4 probably. But yeah, that leads us on. Well, we've talked about the top guys. We got 2 cheap guys as well. First of all, Marmazulis. Cook's gone. He's gone to the Dragons. I don't understand that. Why do you reckon the Dragons were chasing him after Little had a good year?
I'm not sure either.
They just wanted to buy some experience to really shore up their position. Like, they've just lost Grant. All their old boys have left. They need some leaders. So I think that's what they've gone out into the market to acquire. They've bought Gutho, Val Holmes, and Cook. I think it's all really the same kind of echelon of leadership that club needs to really foster their next crop of young lads that are coming through, who are all meant to be quite good.
Yeah, well, you've got the
And
Catchman Bros and that winger from Union. Anyone else that you can think of, Eddie?
No, but it's just annoying because one team has single-handedly managed to kill two of the gun hookers. Because I can't, even if one of them plays a bit of 13, I can't see how it would add up that Cook or Little could play more than 120 minutes between them. So that's 60 each. They're dead.
Yeah, I have Cook at 60 minutes, maybe moving around a little. And then Little's probably sharing more lock with Eisenhuth, but then taking those extra minutes away. But yeah, they're both going to drop like 10 points minimum, surely.
Yeah. We could probably stop talking about them, I suppose. Nobody's going to get either of them.
Yeah. Well, the guy who does replace them, replace Cook, Marmazoulis. Surely you just lock him in.
Yeah, must
Yeah,
have.
can't see why not. Because he's priced at
319.
Oh, cool. Priced at 319. I reckon probably about low 50s minutes, 50 minutes and 35 average. So what? That's got 12 points of value or some shit.
About 11. Yeah, so hang on. Like, there's no reason not to have him. Everyone's going to have him. It's just, you're just kind of screwing yourself over if you avoid him.
Yeah. Don't expect the world from him, but he should be good. He should be able to hit mid-30s. Think Billy Walters.
Who is the anticipated bench hooker that the Bunnies will run?
Humphreys. Humphreys came across and has been doing some booker stuff. Mark's been frothing over all of those shirtless beach photos of him. We'll just have to see if he can convince Wayne, because he looked big and fit, but yeah, I don't think he'll be there to start the year. Maybe we'll get two Souths cheapy hookers.
Now, there's a very similar value guy and similar role in Moser, isn't there, over at the Broncos, assuming he starts.
Yeah, you just need him to actually be named at the number 9, because Billy Walters is no longer being coached by Kevy Walters, and probably a little bit of that nepotism is gone. Like the Broncos have got so many okay hooker options and no fantastic one. They've got Hunt now, but who they got else? They got Pate, they got Smoothie, they've got Walters, and they got Moser. And surely they just need to develop Moser. And the race is apparently pretty close, so I would not be surprised at all to see him there in round 1. Would you be happy with taking Marmazoulis and Moser and running Watson in mid? Surely you have to put somebody more points than that up in hooker.
I think Watson would definitely be the person to be running in hooker, and one of Moser or Marmazoulis would be in your emergencies hiding away. Like, I don't think you really want a hooker that's not playing the full 80 in your scoring 17 week in, week out, let alone 2.
Yeah, and there's plenty of middles to pick, so I'll be running Watson at hooker. Probably end up playing one of Moser or Mamazoulis. One of them sort of be around a sort of 18-man looping sort of area, and as your team gets a bit stronger, drop them further down the emergencies.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, it's really simple hooker this year. You've got some guns, probably underpriced guns, and 2 really good cheap options. I don't think you need to stray outside those 4. Is there anybody at all who's even worth looking at? Tom Starling might have been almost okay, but they priced him up 3 points, so I don't care about him anymore.
Nah, to be honest, pretty much all the hooker talks just revolved around Grant, Watson, Mummers, and Moser. I don't even think many other people are in consideration for any teams.
Exactly. I think if you're trying to look past those 4 that have been discussed, you're really looking for value that isn't there, and you're just kind of doing that because you're over-analyzing. I think you need to get your head out of your ass and just pick Watson or Grant. The only one I would raise is Jake Simpkin at the Manly. People might be inclined to take him because Croker's gone and is out till round 4. Simpkin only has 3 weeks to make money. he is without a doubt a trap in my mind. If he comes out with one of his classic scores of high 20s, low 30s, you're not going to make much money, and that's the end of him. And you're just going to be stuck with a dud you have to trade out in round 4.
Yeah, you're probably right. Plus, what do you need a fourth hooker for anyway?
Fucking that's it.
Exactly. Does Aaron Clark have hooker duel? He
I actually don't know.
does. That's interesting. So he's probably the only one I'd even think about if he's starting lock because he still has that
I
duel.
don't think he will, though.
Yeah, it's going to be Dylan Walker, surely.
Well, I think Dylan Walker's in the spot. And Clark's not exactly a big name. He's only probably coming here because the Titans don't really want him anymore. He might just sort of have a Jazz Tavanga sort of role where he might play play some minutes at 13 off the bench and could cover hooker if we don't have another utility on there. I certainly can't imagine him playing more than 30, 35 minutes.
I'm personally not a big fan of the Warriors forwards this year. I don't really know how they're going to deal with the significant change they're going through. And I get scared thinking that they're going to have to tackle their way to a good score, and they're going to spend a good half of their time on the pitch underneath their own goalpost watching whoever it is kicking goals.
Yeah, there's only one Warriors forward that I'm interested this year. But that could be for another podcast.
Yeah. Egan isn't going to play 80 either, is he? Not with.
Nah.
Yeah. He's Mr. HIA Incorporated, and he won't play 80. So we're kind of running out of juice. There's only really 4 that we want to pick. I've seen people talk about Reed Marnie a tiny bit, but like, why? Why would you?
Oh man,
do
let's
that?
suck owning him. I guess the only narrative for him is that he tends to start the season strong before turning to shit. But then you're just putting an end date on yourself anyway. I got burned by him last year, so I'm certainly not doing it. I can't see why you'd really want to choose him over all other options.
There's only 2 things Mahoney can do consistently, and that's fucking fall off tackles and piss everyone off in his vicinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a maggoty little cunt as well. I don't really like him.
Oh, mate, hell yeah. I really wish Hetherington had actually punched him last year.
Fuck yeah. Fucking are that.
Oh, mate. I'd pay to see that boxing fight.
Well, every NRL player these days seems to get washed and then decide they're going to take up boxing. Matt Lodge is lining up for another fight because didn't he decide to go on a train and he rejected a contract so he could look elsewhere. Then they would only offer him trainer trial, so he had a hissy fit and didn't. Now he's supposed to be doing some boxing match.
As long as he's not doing a home invasion.
Matt Lodge versus Door. Pay to win, pay to view.
Matt Lodge versus American Family.
Yeah, you can see that he's a piece of work by how many clubs he's moved around.
Fuck you.
Oh, maybe he's just a very popular guy.
Oh, he is.
Share his love around.
Yeah, but the only other hooker who's even in contention to be keeper level-y type, interesty, whatever, is probably Robson. But he does the same thing as Marnie. He starts well and then just turns into a 39, 42, 36, 45 type scorer and ruins the back end of the year. And plus, he's going to the Roosters.
Yeah, I think they'll start to blood the young one coming through and start reducing his minutes at least at some point during the season. There's no reason to not. And given that the Cowboys are going to blood half a new team by the feels of it, I don't think there's much value in Robson at all.
No, he's not a very fun pick either.
No. Anyone know the name of that up and coming Cows bloke? I think he's supposed to be all right, but yeah, not this year.
I don't, unfortunately. Let me quickly have a look.
Yeah, we're not going to buy him anyway until like round 20 or not at all. He'll probably be Moser, just like a year behind and play 20 minutes off the bench and not be worth it. But yeah, I mean, that's as far as hooker really goes, isn't it? So, any other thoughts
Yeah,
on
that's probably
just
about it.
how we've set up fantasy this year? Who have you personally got in your team? Have either of you got Grant?
Nah, but like I said earlier, I wouldn't talk anyone out of him that's keen on him. I think it's just basically a follow your gut between Watson and Grant situation.
I think that's bang on the money. I think it's literally you put Mamazulis in your team, you decide which one you want to have, Watson and Grant, and then you get your head out of your ass and don't think about any others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice and simple.
I think it's. I've tried a team where I put Grant and Watson in, but I didn't like it. And if you're doing that, it pretty much stops you from getting Yo or another decent half or wing fullback. And we just don't really need to when we've got so many forwards and a couple of good hookers.
Yeah. It's a pretty straightforward position this year, isn't it?
It's a nice change. Can't complain.
Yeah. Who did we have last year? Oh, it was Cheese, and then he died. When are we going to get Cheese? Are we actually going to
Never.
do it?
Hey,
Never.
he's not even wanted in his own club. I don't know why you'd want him in your team.
Yeah.
How many times do you need to get ass raped by one guy before you learn your lesson?
That's
Hey, I'm
probably a
feeling
good
it.
call.
Third time's the charm.
Shooter will be bending over for him again, though.
It's not even the third time though. It's got to be like the fifth time by now, surely.
Yeah. Shooter traded in and out Cheese like 6 times over the course of 2 seasons.
Mate,
No.
that sounds like an abusive relationship. He keeps bringing him back and saying, "Oh, he's changed. I've got him this time."
It was like a total of like 10 trades burned on him. Like, it's just so
That's
ridiculous.
I think
disgusting.
there's always been one reason to bring Cheese back in. Like I remember the first time. I've only owned him once in the last 3 years. I think it was when the
Nah.
year the Dolphins first came to the comp, and Cheese copped that rib injury. So like
Oh,
everyone sold him then, and then everyone started
Yeah.
to bring him back after that. Like, oh, he was injured. It's okay. This time he'll be better. Thank God I dodged that bullet because I was just watching everyone else's teams burn.
Well, he'll get
But
like 160 because he'll fucking get a try or like make this fucking line break with some few tackle busts and shit. But then the rest of the time he'll just slam around getting like fucking 30 and shit. Because at this point of his career, it's obvious that he's a fat, lazy chode and he's never going to become a professional athlete properly.
But he's just not a good hooker, is a simple thing. I think he was much better in the forward pack. Like, he doesn't have the ball service. He hogs the ball too much. Like, it's not what
Oh,
you need at a hooker.
Well, he's never going to be fit enough to put in the work. He's basically just a paler version of fucking Havili.
we need to make a team out of all those guys. We get Schuster and Cheese to captain it, and we
What,
go
fat
from there.
cunts? What, the fat lazy 21?
Yep.
Does Latrell get in the captain for that one?
Oh, he's on notice. He's on notice. He looks like he might be skinnier this year.
Yeah, he looks like he's gone down a couple of cup sizes, eh?
I would love to know how he's going to go this year, but 60 points, like that's really tough to bring in, especially when what is it, Dodd's there kicking. I don't think I can. Isn't South still
Look,
busted?
yeah, never pay that much for winger fullbacks in round one, man, because you know every season that if it's not Trell himself, there's going to be like Teddy or Drinky, or there's going to be a couple of them that in the first 6 weeks get cheap as, and then you just get them, and then they get good again, and then you've got gun winger fullbacks that didn't cost fuck all. It's the way to do it every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple cheap ones already. Like, you don't need to go fork it out at the moment.
Nah.
Yeah, I agree. And if you go real expensive, like even drink water, but if you go above drink water in price, you stop yourself getting a Yo or a Ground or even like a Munster with some cash. And why would you do that?
Yeah, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, well, boys, that's pretty much wrapped up, Hooker. It's pretty, I won't say uninteresting because it'll make us lots of money, but it's pretty simple this year. Any other comments on just fantasy in general? We've got the game open now. Finally, it's a lot later this year. We got spoiled for 2 years. Now it's back to Australia Day.
Yeah, lazy fucks took their time.
Yeah, the only good thing is now we don't have to wait as long before the season kicks off as we did last year. Where we made our teams in like December.
Yeah, and it said next lockout in like 67 days or something.
Yeah,
Man, I'm keen for trials. Trials start soon.
Yeah, well, it's only 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, Sharks v Waz kick it off.
So good.
yeah, boy, fucking the first week of trials are always kind of not that fantasy relevant, but the last week will be.
Yeah, no. I think it'll be interesting to see a couple of the new guys that might be coming through. Like especially, I think the Sharks will likely play Ison at that first trial game, and I'm hopefully praying for him to somehow break into the fullback spot sometime this year. So I think that's where Sharks are really lacking.
Yeah, no, it must be almost be time to get fucking Sky Sport Go back. Always get rid of it at the end of the NRL season. It's time to bring it back again. Fucking spending a bit of time at home lately as well. Fucking because I've had a bit of guts, so I went to the doctors. Sort of try to get to the bottom of it, and he's asking me a few questions, and he's asked me how often do I take shits. Well, he used polite term than that, but so I said, once every day at 6 a.m. He looked at me a bit confused. He said, well, that sounds perfectly normal. What's the problem with that? The problem is I don't wake up till 7.
Good excuse to get out of work. But yeah, that'll probably do us, guys. Thanks for listening into the first episode. Couldn't be bothered to do video. We might at some point, but yeah, well, you'll know whether we do or not.
Fuck video. That's Jamie's basket. He can have it.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We will catch you for the next one, which will probably be a bit longer and more in depth. That'll be the middles. Have a good one.
Yeah, there just wasn't many players to talk about in this particular position.
4 players, done, dusted, 30 minutes with everything else. All right. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll catch you for the Middles podcast.
Cheer the boys.